This is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lackens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year, Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation. What a capacity crowd. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Welcome to the DPS Tech Arena. This is Life's Pitch TV. I'm your host, Mark Murphy. Welcome to the show. Let me introduce you to the team. There is Terry Butcher. Yay! And right next to him, it's Russell Osman. Yay! And he's here on time this week. It's Chambo. Fantastic. And, of course, we have a capacity crowd. Would you please make some noise? Churchman Stand, sponsored by John Keeble Cars. Yay! And the North Stand, sponsored by Ashford Wright. We've got Richard and Mark on technicals. And Sarah is our floor manager tonight. Promotion. We've got lots to get in on the programme tonight. Don't forget, if you're watching it on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe and tell all your friends to do the same. If you're listening on podcast, welcome. And on Suffolk Sound, of course, you're welcome as well. We need a special guest this week and capacity crowd. He's one of our own. It's Luke Hyam.
He's one of our own. Luke Hyam is one of our own.
Look at that, eh? Not heard that for a while, geezer.
No. Strange hearing it all over again.
Just like being back at Portman Road, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was probably similar from when we played there, mate. Yeah. I've knocked me tea over as well.
Bigger crowd, you say, Chambo. Did you hear them sometimes?
All right, Mark.
All right, Luke, you brought it up, not me. Welcome to the show.
Good start.
Really good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Great start. Carry on, Mark. Carry on.
No, it's good. What did you? Thanks. What did you? I'll do a Roy Keane. I'll see you in the car park.
Yeah. I'll look forward to that. Don't you worry.
What did you make of Sunday, Luke? Manchester United.
Yeah, brilliant. I thought we deserved to win. The second game I've been to actually this season. So Man United were poor, but I thought Ipswich were very, very good. I think they're surprising all of us, and I think the performances don't actually reflect on our results so far. So yeah, I think we'll do well, and I think we'll
great atmosphere. Was it under the floodlights? Fantastic.
Yeah. Like it was brilliant. Obviously, seeing the atmosphere, seeing all the build-up, yeah, it's just great to see again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's in hold for the rest of the season.
What do you make of it all, Chambo? You were there.
I was there, yeah. It was just amazing. It's just pinch yourself moment, really, isn't it? For everyone that's supported the club for the last however many years since the legends did what they did. But yeah, just to play Man United on a Super Sunday, late November, is just insane. And the way the boys went about the job, especially first half, I thought it was just a brilliant day. Unfortunately, we didn't get probably the 3 points that we deserved with the chances that we had. But again, you come away disappointed drawing against Man United, regardless of their form and regardless of what they're going through. It's a fairly decent place to be.
Russ, it was incredible, wasn't it? Absolutely incredible. Did it bring back memories of when you were playing these teams week in, week out?
It did a little bit. I watched it I watched it live, but then I watched Match of the Day too. And I thought we must be playing at Old Trafford, because it was all about Man United this, Man United that, and you think, hold on a minute, we're at home, we're the team that's just gone promotion, and everything. That disappointed me a little bit, but the game itself I thought was fantastic. I thought Onana, the Man United keeper, got lucky on a couple of occasions, but great saves, but just by being in the right place at the right time, and 6 inches either way, then Delap gets a couple and we walk off with all 3 points, so great day.
What do you make of it, Terry?
Well, obviously great. It was the second half, perhaps not so much. I think they sort of ran out a little bit of steam in the second half, but they were determined not to lose, and tried to nick it and did very well to nick it. But I just thought that the way that they played, it just showed you. And you think Amorim, you looked at him down in front of us, and he must have thought, well, I shouldn't have really taken that contract because they are crap, by the way. They are flipping awful. So I was looking at that, smiling at that. But then you're only allowed to play as well as you're allowed to play. So, you know, and I thought Town pressed them really well, which they have done all this season and in previous seasons. So they got their momentum going and made the better chances. And yeah, it's just. And the thing that struck me was when you look at the substitutes, and then you look at, you know, on both teams, then you say, well, you know, Man United are all virtually internationals, but that comes with being in the Premier League, you know, a fair while, and that's something that we want to attain to. So that's a big target. Keep in the Premier League, then your quality will improve all the time. Yeah, your budget will slightly go up, but you'll get quality. And if we had quality on the bench, you know, no disrespect to the players on the bench on Sunday, but we sort of feel, well, that's your target, lads. That's the club's target. See what you can do.
It did seem to me like it was more like the Town we've seen over the last couple of seasons. You know, one down, roll the sleeves up, and the way they played was more like we've seen over the last couple of years. It's almost as if they've got their mojo back. Yeah,
well, going a goal down early on like that didn't seem to affect them. It's always a bit of a wake-up call. And it's a shame they conceded early on like that, because I think it would have been a different game if we'd have started a little bit stronger. But it's reminiscent of the days when you used to be in the game knowing that you're going to get a goal and you got every chance of going on and winning the match. But I must just say, me and Terry did a remarkable man-for-man job on an ex-Manchester United player for 90 minutes on Sunday afternoon. We managed to keep Mr. Brazil nice and quiet, kept him out of any trouble. And I think there's one or two people in the crowd here that might know where he went after the game, but
it was a tough job. It was a tough job, but we stuck to it. Yeah,
just like the old days for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's not as mobile as he used to be, so it was okay for us. We could do a job on him. We knew exactly where he was all afternoon, didn't we?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the bar, it wasn't the restaurant, it was the bar. So we knew that he was going to be in there.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Bit of man-for-man marking then.
Yeah.
Not that tight, because you couldn't really get. No, anyway.
Like we've been seeing Chambo over recent years.
Yeah, I think the last few weeks, especially, they've looked like they're getting back to where they were, and they're now figuring out the level, figuring out they can compete. But again, the manager's still trying to find his best team, and he's had changes enforced upon him, and maybe he's found that recipe that seems to be working. I thought the two centre midfielders at the weekend were absolutely brilliant, and if you can have them playing as well as that, they'll dominate most games, and I think they did that tremendously well, which sets us up to attack and defend in the right way, which I felt we were a lot more solid than we've looked over the last few weeks. And I think Burge has come back in and been fantastic, and again shows you them boys that there's lots of competition for places, and they're all beginning to find their feet at that level, which is brilliant for us to see moving forward.
I think the recruitment's been brilliant, personally.
Yeah,
I think every single player who's come in, I think they've bettered us. But the same as, like you said, it's given that competition for places. I think Delap's been unbelievable, to be honest. I can't believe how good he's been.
Unbelievable. The size of him. I think I watch him every game, and you think, you just put yourself in the centre half position. You know, all you can do as a centre half, you're watching that ball go 70 yards, and you see him watching you, and you're just waiting to get absolutely smashed.
What would you do then? Would you step in if you were playing against a lap? Say, what would you do?
Well, I'd watch him watching me, and then as he tries to run into me, he'd probably move out the way. But I think because of all these established Premier League teams, they haven't done their homework as much as you would think they would on an established Premier League striker. Say if it was a Mitrovic, for example, they know what he's about, whereas Delap's a complete new entity for anyone to deal with.
I think Johnny Evans found out late on in the game that he should have just stepped out and got out of the way of him, really.
But then ego comes into it, and lads want to have a fight. And when you see a big striker and you think you're a big hard centre half, you want to have a fight, and he's not really anyone you want to be having a fight with. But back to Hyams, he's like, I do think the recruitment's been very good, but I also think it's been a difficult period where we've tried to maybe bed in too many too soon just to find that magic formula. And I think now we've had a few changes enforced upon us, and seems to be a little bit more settled.
You mentioned Cameron Burgess. he must have been disappointed at the start of the season not to be in the starting lineup. And Jacob Greaves did really well, didn't he?
Yeah.
And for Cameron Burgess to come back as strongly as he has done, I mean, that speaks volumes for the lad's character. Knows he wasn't first choice, but
Did you ever think that he would be a Premier League player, Cameron Burgess, when he came into the team in League One?
what, from Accrington?
Well,
Yeah,
I think you could go through a whole list of lads there and
Yeah.
think, would you have thought they'd been a Premier League player? But they've been able to achieve it, and now they're slowly getting to a place where they're proving it. And would we have said
Yeah.
Burge would have been the first choice at the start of the season? And even weeks ago, we were raving how good Greaves has been. But sometimes it isn't always the best players in every position that makes the best team, as you all know. It's the sum of the parts and how people play with each other and balance off each other. And the way he's come back in is just remarkable. Shows the strength of
A massive reflection on Kieran, though, isn't it? Kieran McKenna, because it always used to make me laugh that when a new manager moves into a club and then clears out half of the players.
Yeah.
And you think some of those players might have been ideally suited to you as a coach, and you've not even given them a chance. You've not even seen whether you can bring out another 10-15% out of them.
Yeah.
And what Kieran McKenna's done, he's gone and he's improved him 10% a couple of years ago, another 10% last year, and maybe another 10% this year. And some of them have gone, like Cameron Burgess has, just gone up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder again.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting when Greaves does come back as to was he go left side or right side, because you've got O'Shea and obviously you've got Burgess. So and the way that he left the team, obviously through injury, he did really, really well. One of the standouts. So it's a nice puzzle to have.
I think all four centre halves, and even Wolfie, I think, has played really well all season. And I don't think you could pick one outstanding pairing that you think, right, there are two centre halves. Where most teams you can do that. I don't think you can do that yet. And that is not an ideal situation for the settled side, but to have those options and them all step in. But we've seen that for 2 years. Like we've had a settled team, but if someone drops out, someone comes in as if nothing's happened. And that's, as well as improving every individual player, that's the mark of a ridiculously good manager.
And you don't rate your centre-halves, though, do you? You don't rotate them.
No, never.
You don't take them off with 20 minutes to go and put another centre-half on for a centre-half. You know, the lads you start with are usually the ones that you finish the game with.
Yeah. Luke, sorry, Mark. Luke, what about the midfield section? Because that was your section when you play. So what about the Town's midfield section now?
Like Chambers said, I thought Morsey and is it Castaigne? Cajuste. Is it? I can't even pronounce it.
I know the names.
I thought they're brilliant. Sam Morsey has really surprised me. Since he came into the building, I thought.
Well, can you remember us playing against him at Wigan? You must have played against him.
I'm not too sure, to be fair, because he's the same age as me.
Yeah, precisely.
That's the point.
Yeah,
but like, even when he came in, I was thinking, yeah, he'll better us, but he wouldn't maybe take us to that next level. And he's just like keeps surpassing what people's expectations of him. And even going into the Prem, you're looking at it, you're thinking, has he got the legs? Is he quick enough? But then on Sunday, he was fantastic.
He's a machine.
The way he manipulates the ball, and it's just like, he's so effective with those 5-10 yard passes, like I say, and he demands the ball all the time from the two centre halves, the fullbacks, regardless of what position, regardless if he's got a man up behind him, he's still demanding it. And just even if it's just a bounce pass to them, say if it's a bounce pass to Tuan's able to then go forward, I think he's been brilliant. And like going with the balance, I think with Phillips, I think maybe they're too similar in terms of how they play. So I don't know how that will work, but like we were saying, we've got competition for places.
And he's doing that on 4 bookings, so the next booking he's suspended. Yeah. So he seems to play. He played the last 3 or 4 without a booking. So he's been very, very disciplined and very good.
I think he had that in the Championship last year as well. I think he started fairly early and got quite a few bookings, and then I was like, oh, there he is, like knowing what I know of him. But then discipline kicks in. Maybe he's just setting his marker out for that first start of the season. Yes, I think he'll get another booking and get a suspension, but that's part and parcel of being a combative
he's going to at some point.
Exactly. So
that's how it is.
And I
it?
think that you've got Taylor who come on again, and he seems to be favouring him. He's got brilliant energy. He uses the ball well. He can attack. And I thought Cajuste, what he did well at the weekend was he played a lot more from the left-hand side.
Fantastic defensive tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah, which allowed Leaf to play higher, but also solidified that left side in case we got caught, which I felt we've been exposed a little bit, which gave Burge more more protection.
He's a good athlete, isn't he?
Yeah, and he gives you real presence in there with his size, and he drives forward and he plays forward. It's a really exciting team to watch, and I really enjoyed it.
And Twanzebe as well, picking him up the way we picked him up.
Yeah,
and he's now the first choice, isn't he?
Very
Fantastic.
good. Very solid.
Well, you just look at every player, back to Ross's point, every single player's got better. And you look back at our period, we had a few decent seasons, but not loads of people improved under what we were working with. And that is a prime example of why we are where we are.
But that's why I think the recruitment's been good, because they've got the players of the right age as well, where,
And
God
the right
forbid,
temperament
God
and
forbid
everything
that
like
if we did ever go down, that they'll either have a resale value or they'll go into a championship thinking we can then kick on and get
They're buying
get back
potential
promoted.
that Kieran can work with, aren't they? So somebody said, he's a good player already, because we're not going to buy a dud and stick him in the side. So there's a decent player there, but the manager feels he can get another 15, 20% out of them.
Yeah. And also, you can't go and get promoted from the Premier League, and we spent over 100 million. We didn't buy any proven Premier League players. Proven Premier League players. You can go and spend 250 million, but then your club, if you don't stay up, you're finished, regardless of how much money you got. But the fact that we say 100 million is not a massive amount of money, but in terms of their plan as a club, if that, for whatever happens, we do go down, that will still remain a manageable amount of money to then immediately kick back on with.
And they are getting better. The more they play together, the more the understanding comes, and the better the players. So it's win-win really.
Yeah.
Amari, great performance, great goal.
Yeah, last few weeks he's really stepped up, hasn't he? I think Chappers came in and played really well.
Yep.
But he stepped back, and I think he's finding his feet in that number 10 role, whereas there was question marks on him. Do we want to play him from the right, to the left, down the middle? And he's now, having a real decent partnership with Delap.
Yeah, I think it suits him more, because obviously I haven't watched many highlights, but I think obviously the Tottenham game, he was fantastic, and then obviously the weekend he was brilliant. I think that kind of suits him better.
Yep.
It's like he's not a winger and he's not an actual out-and-out 10,
No,
so
what
he's like kind of
he's
floating
playing in this little right pocket, isn't he?
Yeah.
As a right side number 10.
Yeah.
Because Kayus is playing a little bit higher and a little bit on the left, and Leaf's obviously playing wherever he wants. So that allows him to drop into those spaces, and his control inside his own half to drop his shoulder and get away from people. He just gets people on their feet.
And if he's injured, then you've got Connor Chaplin to go in there as well. And Connor's slightly different in as much as Connor's got a left foot like Amari, but he has that sort of winger's devilment sort of thing more than just a number 10. But he's great to come on like he did in the game. He has contributed a lot, and he will contribute more.
The character and temperament.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
He's always going to bring you some quality and discipline.
It's normally a headed goal, isn't it? From a corner.
Yeah, exactly.
The smallest man in the world, yeah.
It's a little bit like Eric Gates when Eric Gates played off Brazilian man up front. Eric Gates could play in the hole, and depending who picked him up, he would then go and stand on the right wing just to see if the same marker would follow him out to the right wing. And then the marker would be saying to their left back, you should pick him up, and then the left back would pick him up, and then Gates would come back in the middle. And he just used to cause all sorts of chaos just by being unselfish and moving his position around. And Amari's got that freedom to just go a little bit forward, drop off a little bit, go wide, and just find your own little space and where you want to play. And he looks a happy boy.
Lovely to see, isn't it? We're going to do Man of the Match in a moment or two, which would be interesting to get your thoughts on. You can start thinking about that right now. But before we do that, can I just have and I don't often do this, but a word about the referee, who actually I felt refereed that game really, really well. No cards. I didn't want to, he hardly knew he was there. Am I lonesome on that, or do you all agree?
At the same time, I thought Man United didn't even lay a glove on us. They didn't decide to press us. They just kept the ball at the back. But I didn't realise it was that we didn't actually. There was no bookings whatsoever. So yeah, it's a bit strange.
Because I had a word with him before the game, to be honest. Because last time he was here, it was we lost to, was it Maidstone in the FA Cup? Yeah. So I said, look, let's not
nice parking spot out for him, did you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well done, Luke.
Was it?
It was good.
Was it not the fact that the VAR went down as well?
Yep.
Well, that's why he had a good game, wasn't it? The VAR went down.
15 minutes, no VAR, wasn't it?
So he had to
Fire alert,
ref it as he would have done in the past.
Well, they should have kept it off all the game. That would have been even better. And we enjoyed the game. It was a great game.
I think it was Yeah, we can't hear you, Sue, over there. You ain't got a microphone, love. It's all right, don't worry.
That's all right.
No, it's all right. Go on, stand back over there.
No, we had an interactive crowd.
We'll get you on the sofa in a minute.
Is that even?
Careful, boys. Right, now, this weekend, Nottingham Forest. What we need is someone who's played for Nottingham Forest to kind of be on the sofa. I couldn't think of anybody this week to get in, really.
No, mate.
No, I'm not me.
No.
Roy Keane.
Yeah. I'll see you in the car park, Keane. Yeah. Luke, you weren't Nottingham Forest, were you?
No, not me. No.
What about you, Chambo?
I had a little stint there.
Did you have a little stint there?
Yeah. City ground.
A stint.
They're flying, aren't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from last week. But, yeah, I think he's a tremendous manager. I think what he's done there in a short space of time has been fantastic. I think they've got real strength in depth now. And, yeah, it'll be a very, very difficult game. I was going to go up to the game at the weekend, but
I think they're missing a few injuries in midfield, which should be good for us as well because they're good players. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's a proper stadium. The atmosphere will be incredible. Yeah. We'll take loads. It's one of those games that I always look forward to. When
you jump in the crowd there one day coming off? Didn't you go after a supporter?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to go in after you and calm you down.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, bit of a haze went over me, and
I saw Wes Morgan do that once. I couldn't stop him. I tried to.
No, but I remember being a 13th man for town for the first team. I don't know if did you play start the game? But I was 13th, so I didn't get stripped. So we're going to the game, and the team talk before. It was very early in my career with Ipswich, and Bobby Robson had a team talk. So we got everybody together before the game, which is about 5 o'clock, something like that. So he's laying out his team, and he names a back four, and he names a midfield four, and 2 strikers. He's in a 4-4-2, obviously, but then he said to the 2 strikers, "You're not going to play through the middle, not one of you. You're going to play out wide." So our system is 4-6-0. So he said because they've got strength down the flanks and John Robertson and blah 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 and all that sort of thing. And I thought, well, that's new. This could be revolutionary sort of thing. Well, it wasn't quite revolutionary because we lost 4-0. So it didn't work out very well. No, he never used it again. But that was vaguely. I really remember that because the atmosphere, on the night that was really brilliant. But wow,
John Robertson killed us.
Yeah.
Well, he killed Millsy, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard, but
that's charming.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't, Luke. We shouldn't worry about who we play now. Really, we've shown that we can hold our own at least, haven't we?
Yeah, I think, especially after the last couple of results and performances, sometimes you've got to look at yourself and worry about yourself. But Forest have obviously had a really good start to the season. I think they carry a lot of threats out wide, especially with Elanga and Hudson-Odoi. I think Elanga's actually injured, to be honest, but I'm not too sure. And obviously Chris Wood's been on absolute fire.
But he left him out last week, didn't he? Because he'd been away with our mate Tommy.
Oh, what's
playing
that?
For New Zealand, yeah, he was. On the bench.
Yeah, he was only actually. But even Awonyi, I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think it was last season.
I think he wouldn't mind missing the game at the Emirates, would he? And he got done heavily.
Who's that?
When Forest got beat, didn't they?
Oh, right.
3-0 by Arsenal.
Yeah. I think that I would say Awonyi's still a good player. I think last season there was a mad stat that I think every game he hadn't played, I think that they pretty much lost most of their games. So yeah, they're going to obviously carry a threat, but at the same time, I think with the confidence we've shown in the last couple of games, I think we should be looking to get something from the game. Definitely, yeah.
You fancy someone like Burgess to stick, big man against a big man? That's what he would love to do. So yeah, I think we're going to be strong. I think we're going to win the game.
I think we're now playing in a way where we play as well as we can at home away, and that's the thing I think he's done so well. The way we play, we can play that the same way away from home, whereas sometimes teams have their way of playing at home and then away they change their system or change their approach, whereas I don't think Ipswich do. I think they're same home and away. Yes, you have the help of your home fans and the environment that you play in week in, week out, but when you go away, that system gives you such a great starting block to get a result.
If you were going on Saturday, would you buy a half and half scarf?
Would you?
Do people buy them?
They're 20 quid.
Do they sell a lot then?
Well, there's a bag full. A guy walks around with a bag full, and I saw some kids with them on. am I the minority? I quite like them.
Money laundering, that is.
Just
Fair,
me.
when I went to the game at the weekend, I reckon I was standing there for about 2 minutes. The guy sold about 5 scarves already. The United, couldn't believe it. He said he sold out all the gloves. So yeah, people do buy them.
What, one red, one blue?
Yeah, I don't know. He said he sold
Give
them
me a
out.
business idea, that, Hodgie.
You could do it the other way around, couldn't you? He's doing red and blue, you could do blue and red. Yeah. Anyway, let's
Let's move on.
let's do the Player of the Week, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. Terry Butcher.
Player of the week.
Player of the week.
Yeah, well done, son.
I would normally look. Obviously, Morsey did very well, but I would normally look at Omari. But it was a great goal. Got obviously a deflection over Onana, but I just can't get away from Liam Delap because I just think he's leading the line. He's doing everything that you require, if not more, and he's a big goal threat. And I just think it sort of revolves around him. He just reminds me of Paul Mariner, really does, the way that he puts himself about. Not as much as Paul, because Paul would trample over goalkeepers' faces. But I mean, apart from that, I think he's done very, very well. So you can't, for me, I can't move away from Liam Delap.
Okay, Russ.
Ed Sheeran. I thought he played a great cameo
He played
role.
a big part in the proceedings, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and why not?
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not? It's good to see him, and Sky should be lucky that he's given them a little bit of airtime. So
Just reminding them that it wasn't all about Manchester United.
precisely,
Yeah.
It's Portman Road. He's a part owner, blah blah blah, or shareholder, stakeholder, whatever you want to call it. If he wants to go on the pitch and show his face and say hello to Jamie, I don't know why he wants to say hello to Jamie, but you know, that's up to Ed. But going back to the football side of
Oh, no,
things,
but I've already written Ed down. It's too late now.
okay, Ed,
No, go on.
I'll stick with Ed. What number is he? 16, isn't he?
17, I think.
17.
Yeah.
17. Sam Morsey for me. I thought he was very solid. Inspirational skipper's performance.
Okay. Luke Hyam.
I think I'd go with Amari Hutchinson, to be honest. What is that? Who are you going to go for? Was it?
No pressure on him.
go Amari, oh, no, you said Amari. Sorry, it's not about
I
me.
just thought more so that I think he's not been at his best this season, but I think the last couple of games he's been brilliant. But I thought that first half performance, I went with my friends and I thought he was brilliant. I think not just on the ball, but I think without the ball, the way him, Delap and Sammy Smodix pressed, I thought they were brilliant. And like you say, obviously, like Terry was saying, that we're going to tire towards the end, and that's only going to be natural. But the amount of workload they all put into that first 60-70 minutes was brilliant. And even I think there's a time where Muric played him a pass, and I think he had Evans and Eriksson, and he's turned around him, and then obviously broke. I thought, like dealing with the ball under pressure in those sorts of instances, he was brilliant. So I think you got to go for him. But at the same time, I think everyone was superb.
Hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But Chamber, you're going to get the deciding vote.
I'm with Himesy. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, Amari. He's convinced me there.
Old
No, I thought he
teammates
was
stick
He's with his
together,
mate.
don't
He's
they?
with his mate. So therefore he's going to go with his mate.
Got to back him.
Oh, Luke.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Can't really add any more to that. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my.
Big round of
as well.
applause. Player of the week then, Omari Hutchinson. Fantastic. Let's talk about you, Luke Hyam. Local boy, Northgate boy, one of our own. What was it like growing up? Were you a town fan or what?
Massive town fan. Used to have like half season ticket when we were in the academy. Used to go with my dad, then I'd get a season ticket, and obviously get tickets through the academy. So all friends and family, all mad Ipswich Town fans. My missus, mum and dad and sister are season ticket holders and still season ticket holders now. So like you say, that's what every kid's dream, isn't it? At the end of the day, is to play for their boyhood club, and luckily I was able to do that.
It was an interesting time for you, I guess, juggling schoolwork and football, was it? Were you academic? Or
How old were you when you joined?
So I had a trial at under 9s, and then I didn't get in, and then had obviously another trial at under 11s, got in, and then just obviously made my way up. Obviously, I don't know. Did you have day release?
No,
Oh, do you not have a day release? Where did you come from? Northampton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had like a day release. I think it was every Tuesday or Wednesday. We'd get a day off school and we'd train at the club. I think it was maybe from 14s.
What do you think about that now? You actually like missed school, your education,
Yeah.
to do that. Had you not have achieved what you've achieved?
Well, they do say obviously that unfortunately, as coaches and as a club, you know that not everyone's going to make it, but at the same time, you need those other players to help make those ones who are going to make it. And when you look at it like that, it's horrible, but unfortunately, that's life now. That's how football works. But I don't know how it works nowadays. Do they still have day releases, or they still have?
I've got no idea.
No.
No, I'm not too sure, but yeah.
Well, looking back at it, yeah. Obviously, at the time, you're buzzing.
Of course
you think,
you are, yeah.
You think, oh, that's
Day off school, I'm quite
day
fancy.
off
I think
school.
we all
Yeah,
would, wouldn't
I'll
we?
have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously it's like everyone knows just the dedication of it all it's a lot. But I think anyone who's got given that chance, you're going to do it. And luckily, I had parents who would dedicate their time and to that, and obviously travel up and down the country. So it's not just yourself, is it? At the same time, it's your people around you, your friends and your family.
Yeah.
I think do play a massive role when people don't really understand that as well. So your friends obviously keep you grounded, and hopefully don't distract you. So yeah, it's like I say, it's great, and I absolutely loved it. And I was one of those lucky ones, not only just to be a professional footballer, but to play for my boyhood club. Yeah.
Was there more pressure on you because you were a local boy?
I think so. To be fair, I reckon I put more pressure on myself than anything. And obviously, when I left Ipswich, you do realise that. Like how much you obviously loved playing football, but obviously playing for the club, and then you do kind of put a lot more pressure. And I do think you put that little bit more extra effort when it's your club than it is in another club. So yeah, sometimes I do look back and think maybe I put a bit too much pressure on myself if I didn't play for my boyhood club and I would just become a professional footballer. Sometimes you kind of take yourself out of the situation where, yeah, I'm a footballer, but at the same time, it's not my whole life, and like constantly got friends and family asking you about the club rather than your job, if you know what I mean. It's hard to explain.
It's hard to get the balance right though sometimes, isn't it? You know, when you try to have a good home life, be sociable with your mates, still dedicated to your football. And I mean, for me it was different because I moved down from the Midlands when I was 16, you know, and that's it. You know, you've left all your mates behind you, so you just concentrate on playing your football with your bunch of new mates that you meet and get on with it.
Was it Keno that gave you your debut?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that moment like?
How
How did he explain that to you?
Funny story is, I remember watching Match of the Day with my mum when he was Sunderland manager, and I said to my mum, I couldn't think of anything worse than him being my manager. And then a couple of years later, he becomes manager, but then at the same time, you flip the flip side to it is that he gave me my debut. And I think any player, whatever manager gives you a debut, you're always going to have that sort of affiliation with them. So, and it was one of those ones where I think at the time they were actually looking for a holding midfielder. I think I got told that they were looking at Sean Derry and a couple of others. He couldn't get hold of them. I was with the first team, done well pre-season, and then they didn't sign a holding midfielder. And then I got my chance at Middlesbrough away, and yeah, I think we won maybe the first 3 or 4 and just had a little bit of run in the side. So it's funny how football works, really. It's like, I think football is about luck and being at the right place at the right time, definitely. So yeah.
So was that that was against Middlesbrough away? Did you score in that?
No.
No. When you did score, you scored from a penalty, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah, but you didn't take the penalty. You didn't take the penalty.
No,
you followed up.
Yeah, it was a follow-up. I don't know what I was doing there, to be honest.
Was that Forest?
Yeah, it was against Forest.
Road?
Yeah, at Portman Road, yeah. Against,
So you played
your mate
against each
Campy.
other, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if were you playing that game? I don't know.
What was the
if you
score?
were.
We beat you 3-1, did we?
Ipswich beat you 3-1.
Yeah, you 3-1.
Yeah.
I don't think I was playing that.
No. you were 1-0 up at half time, and then they went 3-1. So get it up, you
Moving on, he
Chamber.
says.
Get it up.
Moving on. Moving on.
Yeah.
So
Played too
come
many
on,
games.
what was Keane like? Come on, tell us about Roy Keane. We all want to know. What was it like in the dressing room?
Yeah, scary. To be
You're
honest.
amongst friends.
The aura of the man. Like, I've never experienced the aura. So, like, for example, if he walked through that door and you didn't, and your back was turned, you'd know that he'd walked through it. The amount of times he went into the canteen, and then everyone just like didn't say a word. The amount of stories I don't even know if I could even say them, to be honest, about him and like what he used to say to players.
Give it a go.
Go on. That's what we're here for.
Well, when I got sent off against Reading for 2 bookings, mind you, I was only 18, 19 at the time. Obviously, I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. I was like, I'm going to absolutely get it. He came in, didn't say anything, and then just looked at me. And I always thought, even as a young lad, I thought, I'm just going to stare at him. I'm not going to back down to it. And he just went, "You're an absolute CUNT," 5 times, right on my face. And I just thought, oh, I'd better take this. And I was thinking, like, looking back, I think, God, I was only 18. And I was thinking, someone just to say that to you. Yeah, it weren't nice, but yeah, he's...
Makes you swallow hard, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, I had to clean his boots every single day, morning and afternoon. I'd get his black Diodora boots, I'd polish them, I'd even get like a cloth, I'd wipe all the black polish off the yellow Diodora bits. Every single day I used to like dread it. I used to dread going into the changing room and hoping that he weren't there because I just didn't want him to say anything. And then at Christmas he said, "I'll come see me." So I went to see him. I think he was actually leaving in his car and he gave me 80 quid. I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I think it was a few weeks later, he came storming over to the pictures wearing a new pair of boots. So I think he was just wearing some Copper Mundials with his black Diodora boots. Mind you, I was polishing them every single day, cleaning and polishing them every day, twice a day. He's going, "You fuck my boots up, look at them." He's like, "I want my fucking 80 quid back now, and you can have these boots, and you tell your mates you fucked Roy Keane's boots up." And I was like, "Oh, okay then, thanks." He didn't actually give me the boots. I think I'd rather him actually give me the boots. I could have sold them.
Oh, what? And he was your manager at the time, and you were playing in the first team.
No, this is obviously when I was. This is when I was in the youth team.
I think that.
But yeah, luckily, yeah. But yeah, I think
I've got a sneaky feeling these are just the tame stories that we're hearing now. That there could be.
Yeah, it's obviously just lots of swearing and bits and pieces and
really, you surprised me.
Other little team talks and whatnot. But
So what did you think when he got the sack? Were you quite happy about that? Were you doing a dance or something, or?
Funny enough, I weren't, because obviously when I was a youth team player, and then obviously when I got into the first team, I think I was injured when he actually got the sack. So, and then obviously Paul Jewell come in. But funny thing is, I actually liked him just because he gave me my debut and he actually played me and gave me that chance. Like I say, you always have that affiliation with that manager who gives you that chance, and you would kind of run through brick walls for him. So yeah, it's a funny one, like you say.
But that's through fear, I would imagine, not through a relationship.
Yeah, I think the tail end, he did then kind of just fall out of all the senior lads. And then he did just play like loads of youngsters because, like you say, he can just tell us what to do. Whereas I think he did have a few busts up with a few of the senior lads. Obviously, like I think it's well documented about obviously John Walters and bits and pieces. I think even
Must have been difficult for you at that, seeing all that kicking off around you. You know.
Yes and no, but obviously as a young lad, I think
it's just normal, right?
Yeah, I did actually. I just thought that was the norm. It's crazy. Like looking back, and I think, I did think, this must be what happened all the time. But obviously it mellows down quite a lot. But then I think he had like busts up with Pablo Cunyago, maybe even Campo, and then he just started playing younger lads, and then obviously kind of the writings on the wall. I think once you lose that dressing room, I think it's always a tough ask, definitely.
Bobby Ferguson, Bobby Robson, Cyril Lee, even Charlie Woods. They were hard people to deal with. You know, you made a mistake on the pitch or in training, they used to come down on you like a ton of bricks. And Bobby Ferguson's language wasn't the best at times, and he was a tough fella. You know, he kicked me in the throat one day in training. He'd been playing in the 5-a-side and I knocked him over and into a puddle. Because where we used to have a little five-a-side, it was where they used to park the cars at the side of the pitch. He fell in the puddle, and then the next thing, I've got to head the ball, and it's quite low, and he's kicked me in the throat. And he said, it was good tackle, but don't forget I could kick you. Right? And that's it, you know, and that's how it was. It was tough old business then, and I think Roy was the hangover between
Old school.
the past and the present, yeah.
Wow.
Fun days.
Jewel, what was it like for him? Because you didn't play so much with him, didn't you? Did you?
No, so actually, I think it was maybe a year or so into his reign, I kind of got completely bombed out. And he said I could go, and then I was actually going to go train with Yeovil at the time, and then for whatever we had like loads of injuries and suspensions, and it's like go back to it. It's like having that bit of luck and that time, and we had I think Grant Ledbetter, David Norris, someone else, all central midfielders were out injured or suspended, and we played, I think it was Blackpool potentially, and we had like a bit of a depleted squad, and we actually played really well. And then we went, I think after that we went on a winning run of winning like 5 games, and I think I played with Andy Jury in central midfield, and we done really well. And then after that he said, oh, you're getting a new deal. So it's crazy how things like that, like on like the Friday or the Thursday, the Friday is like, all right, I'm going to Yeovil next week to train, and then they're like, oh, you to play Saturday, do well, play 5-6 games, do well, team does well, and then get offered a new deal, and then it kind of then kick-starts it again. So it's crazy how you can go from like down here to up here in a matter of days and weeks. So yeah, it's a crazy one, really.
But did he gave you a new contract, but did he actually then play you and start you for that next season?
So funny one, I think we lost the game. So we went on like 5-6 games, win and run. We lost the game, and he just took me straight out. And I remember, I think I was speaking to Mark Kennedy, and he said, I think that's bang out of order that he's just done that and just kind of used you as a bit of a scapegoat, just to kind of change it. I think I won't even. Then I think, to be fair, he actually moved me into the first team dressing room as well in that time. And then I think the next season, I think Massimo was actually there, and we started the season, me and Mass in central midfield. I think we didn't start that greatly, to be fair. And then I think it must have been about 8, 9, 10 games into the season, he lost his job, and then obviously Mick McCarthy came in. So yeah, it changes very quickly.
Yeah, and you had to pack up quite early, didn't you? Because you had some injuries. 29. What was that like?
Yeah, it's obviously shorter than what anyone would like, or I would definitely like, but at the same time, I just think you got to look at it and just look at all the positives. I play for my boyhood club. I've become a professional footballer. I look at it and people retire at what the average age now is, like 32, 33, 34. And I just think at some point you got to pack it up. And unfortunately for me, it was sooner than what I anticipated. But at the same time, I just think I don't want to look back, and I want to look forward in my life in terms of what's next, what I want to do. And it was a great time for me that I had my little boy, and that gave me that distraction. And I do look back and think I wished I had my little boy younger, obviously, to watch me play, but I feel like I'd have actually played better because I wouldn't have focused too much on football, and I'd had that distraction. So, and I get the opportunity to spend loads of time with my little boy, and I work 3 days a week, and I have my little boy 2 days a week. So there's not many people who say that they can have that better balance of still working and looking or spending as much time as their little boy. So that's how I look at it. I look at the positives and think I get to spend so much time with my little boy.
Yeah, well, that's a very positive outlook. It really is. It really is. And are you managing Woodbridge now?
Yep, still managing Woodbridge.
How's that going?
Yeah, so it's my 3rd season now. We've actually picked up a little bit. We had first season was brilliant. 2nd season we finished about mid-table, and then we've won about 6 games on the bounce. So we're literally in the playoffs at the moment. So yeah, it's going well. I really enjoy it. Obviously, at the same time, I think it's when you're winning games, it's enjoyable. When we went on a 10-match game without getting a win, I was thinking, "Oh, this is tough." But when you're winning games, it's really enjoyable. And it's just, I think for me, it's the social element of it. more so than anything. That's the only thing. Whenever I speak to people, that's the thing I miss the most is the social element and the banter element. So it kind of keeps your foot in the door with that aspect. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good.
That's you got the pitch right near the A12.
Yes.
Have you lost any balls over on the A12 or something?
I lose
If Hymesy gets involved in shooting, yeah.
we lose balls every single week. I don't know where they go.
And they're a lot of money, aren't they? So yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Who have you taken managerial bits from? Is there a bit of Roy Keane in you? Is there a bit of Mick McCarthy? A bit of Paul Jewell?
I'd say Mick McCarthy, because Mick McCarthy's by far the best manager I've had. I reckon yours as well.
Yeah,
By any chance? Yeah.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, I'd say I think as a manager, I think everything in life in general though is your people skills and just being respectful. I always think with like Mick that every single morning he'd shake every single person's hand, and whenever I see all the lads, I'll always shake or give them a little spud or whatnot. Every single day we see him every Tuesday and Saturday, but yeah, every time I see him I always say hello in that way, because I think that's like the respectful element. And it's just like you say, it's just being as honest and as transparent with them as possible, and I think that's what his skills were with Mick.
Mick
and
would
obviously
say
Terry.
good morning to everybody in the canteen, though, wouldn't he? Whether it was the apprentices, whether it was the canteen staff, whether it was the first team
It's
pros,
a team,
whether
isn't
it was
it?
the
You've got to
other
all be
staff.
working together.
Yeah, they'll go in and shake hands. Good morning, and it breeds that sort of feeling around there, and everybody does the same.
But also, it's just people, right?
It's manners.
There is no
hierarchy as
No,
such
it's
as
like
all the same.
Who cares what anyone else does? Like, we're all people in the same world
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, people that walk into a room and wouldn't say hello, whether you're shy or not. But if you're in that role of leadership or whatever, that is your responsibility to make people feel welcome. Like,
Yeah, the two Bobbies with us, they used to come in every morning and shake people's necks. But apart from that, they were lovely people. Yeah, really good.
But I never saw you going into management, mate. How did it come about? Did you think, oh, I want to do that? Did someone ask you and you just thought, oh, actually, that'll be all right?
To be fair, like, so Billy, who's my assistant, and then I've got, Seb as well, don't you? So obviously he's playing for Leicester. We've always said, even like at youth team, we said, oh, I'd love to just do non-league. Obviously only non-league around here, just because we know lads. And we just thought, like I say, it is just for the banter and the social element of all. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't. I actually, it sounds stupid, but I wouldn't want to go professional. I'd like to go maybe higher in non-league, but I wouldn't want to go professional, because I wouldn't want to take that enjoyment and that I wouldn't want the pressures of it. Like I say, I'm only doing it for the social element, and it's still having that sense of achievement regardless of what level it is. I actually feel like I want to win.
Yeah, you're still
more.
competitive. Yeah, but
I actually feel like I want to win more as a manager than as a player, which is crazy.
Yeah, are you nice and calm on the touchline then?
Absolutely not. I lose my head all the time, constantly.
You wait till you
Doesn't
get
sound
VAR.
We're going to give you a chance to win something in a bit, because it's table football very shortly.
Okay,
so
great.
we'll get you to have a go at that.
Butcher's met his match,
More from
so-
Luke Hyam and the boys in a moment or two. Have you bought your tickets yet for our Christmas dinner? It's at venue 16 on the 16th of December. There is the show going out live, so we'll start at 6:30. Our special guest will be Matt Holland. We will have some other legends along as well, but Matt will be our special guest for the show. We'll have a Christmas dinner, and then we'll do a Q&A with all the legends that are there. So you go to www.lifesapitch.tv to book those tickets. And if you'd like to be part of our capacity crowd, then you can also go onto the website and apply to be a member of the capacity crowd on there as well. You can buy merchandise, all on the website, www.lifesapitch.tv. Right, time for Ask the Legends, sponsored by Seckford Golf Club. We had VAR last week, so it's now Russell 9.5, Terry coming up on the rails 5.5. We have.
I'm more than that.
No, you're not, are you?
Yes, I am. I want a VAR and a VAR. That's what I want.
9.5, 6.5.
9.5, 6.5.
Okay.
But even that's wrong, isn't
I
it?
think it's closer than that.
What is it?
TB.
Whatever. Carry on.
We'll do 9.5, 6.5. Okay. Tony from Seckford is here with a question. Feel free, you two Lukes, to help them or hinder them, however you feel. They have their little clipboards ready to write their answer down. So, Tony from Sackford.
Nice easy one for you both. All I want to know today was what the crowd was on Sunday.
What was the attendance on Sunday at Portman Road against Manchester United? Okay. What was the attendance against Manchester United on Saturday? There's a bit of help and support coming from Churchman's, I think.
Should be half a point each year, I think.
So, have you got an answer, Russ?
Yeah, I'm just about to write it
Okay, you scribble that down. Terry, have you got an answer? Yep, okay. So, do you want to go first then, Butch? Let's have a look.
No.
Go on, what have you got?
30,190.
30,190. Okay. Russell, what have you come up with?
30,000.
Use your mic.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, Mark. 30,053.
30,017.
It's a point for Russell.
Hit the post again.
It's a point for Russell.
Well, I mean, at least I'm getting closer anyway, so I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm doing easy ones. Easy ones.
Not much, but happy.
30,017, which was great, wasn't it? Didn't seem to be an empty seat anywhere in the house. Right, it's time now for our Table Football Challenge. This is sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics.
Who's top of the table, mate?
So, our England legends, Terry and Russell, are prepared to come to the table. Luke Hyam is going to take them on. Luke, would you like someone to give you a hand from the capacity crowd, or do you want to go solo? You can have someone from the crowd if you wish to help you out. Any volunteers to help Luke Hyam? Any volunteers? Yeah, come on, Dan. Dan from Come Hither Design, our designer on the show, with Luke Hyam against Terry Butch and Russell Osman. Basically, you've just got to score as many goals as you can against our England defenders. Luke Chambers is in the lead. You've got 60 seconds. Make sure you've got plenty of balls to drop in. Here we go. And we're off. There's a bit of spinning going on. Bit of spinning still going on there. It's a bit of a midfield game. Oh, it's 1-0 to Butcher and Osman. Oh, my goodness. They're on fire. They're still on the attack. Some heavy defensive work coming from Luke Hyam and Dan. 2-0 to our England defenders. 2-0. 2-1. A lapse of concentration there, I think, from our England defenders. 2-1. 2-1 at the moment. You got 25 seconds. You got 2-2 it is. Luke Chambers still the top scorer with 5. 3-2 to Dan and Luke. 3-2. Come on, you've got about 10 seconds to score 2 more goals to go equal top. It's going to be close. 3-2 at the moment to Luke Hyam and Dan. What a match. What a fantastic match. Well done. Well done, Luke. Amazing. Well done. That was a good game. End to end, wasn't it? Fantastic. I'm worn out watching. If you came along to the match on Sunday, by the way, thanks for putting some money in our buckets for Cancer Sport Suffolk. We raised £666 from the town fans, so thank you very much for that. Time for On This Day in History now, sponsored again by Fred Olsen Logistics.
Right, on this day in history from Dan Botton's book, I'm going to start on a day early, actually, on Wednesday the 26th of November 1980. Do you remember that day, Terry? A scintillating attacking show saw the Blues overwhelm Vitzu Lotz 5-0 at Portman Road, an all but confirmed town spot in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Cup. An absorbing encounter was crowned by a brilliant hat-trick by midfield king John Walk, which was his second of the competition. It took his European tally in the season to 8 goals, all at home. Alan Brazil's ferocious finish and Paul Marner's header completed the scoreline as Ipswich bullied their visitors to the final whistle. Saturday the 27th of November 1999, Derry-born Sean Friars, signed from Liverpool, made his only appearance as sub for Mick Stockwell in a 2-1 home win over Crewe Alexandra. And then on Wednesday, the 28th of November, Ray Crawford and Bobby Blackwood hit the target as Ipswich beat AC Milan 2-1 at Portman Road in the European Cup. But it was not enough to reverse the 3-0 first leg defeat from the San Siro. Town struck the woodwork 3 times. The Italians would go on to lift the trophy. And that's all from this day in history.
Wow. That must have been a fantastic atmosphere in that match then. You imagine it?
Which one?
The one with Ray Crawford.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, in those days.
At the San Siro.
Amazing. Right, Tony, give me that look. I thought you were going to say something.
No, the 5-0 was just we couldn't believe it because they'd beaten Man United as well in the previous round. So we sort of thought we're up against it. You know, the real Man United, not the ones we played on Sunday. But
well, they had Boniek playing centre forward, and I think we mentioned it the other week. I sneaked down the night before and watched them train at Portman Road, just to have a look at Boniek and see how he played, doing my homework as you do in those days.
That's not like you.
I know. And he spent all night in goal. They had shooting practice and he was in goal.
Oh, right.
So I never saw him do anything.
Do you reckon they sussed that you were there, perhaps? And said,
quite possibly. Scared him.
Yeah,
so.
Had him on the run. Ipswich Town women beat #United in the Cup on penalties at the weekend. So well done to Ipswich Town women. And the Man v Fat results. Our 14-week season has just come to an end, and it was one of our best ever with the guys losing, wait for this, between them, 29 stone in weight, which is incredible. The Cat Funts swept most of the awards at the end of season, except the Pitch, League and Cup, which was won by the Waddlers. Scott Falciek gained his 20% loss, and Town fan Tom McGarry got his 10% certificate. This week's results: Ivory Toast 10, Galatasaray 11. The Red Hot Chubby Fellas 16, Borussia München Flapjack 10. The Red Cat Funts 8, Wycombe Waddlers 10. We got through that round of games without cocking that one up. They go straight into a new season and have a few spaces available. So if you like football and want to lose weight, do get in touch with the Man v Fat lads. Right, predictions for this weekend. Luke Hyam, what do you think against Nottingham Forest?
I'll go for a 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with a point away after their start. Yeah.
Terry Butcher.
1-0 Town.
Russell Osman.
2-1 Town.
Luke Chambers.
Oh, here we go. He'll say a draw. He'll say a draw.
No, I think 2-1 Forest.
Ooh.
Sorry, I meant Ipswich.
Hey. Can I go 3-1 then? Ipswich, is that all right?
Yep.
And then Crystal Palace after that, isn't it? Another game under the floodlights. So in theory, the games get a little bit easier, do they, or not? Not really.
No.
No,
I don't think so.
But you've got Palace and you've got Forest. They're sort of part of that group that we're in at the moment, or round about that area. So victories against them would be fantastic, but not to lose against them would be good as well.
So it's a little mini league that we're in, isn't
it?
Yeah,
there's several little mini leagues in that Premier League, but the strangest results for a long, long time. It's just weird.
But it's the bar we've set. We've got to sort of maintain that now. Just got to keep ticking over at that level, and it's more about how we play than whether it's Forest or whether it's Palace, whether it's Bournemouth, whether it's Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever. It's how we play.
Right. And obviously the games come thick and fast over the Christmas period, so there's no let up, Luke, is there?
No, but they've had those international breaks where they've had their bit of time off, and I think Kieran gave them a full week off this last one, and see what they've done since then. So no, I think they'll just be desperate to get that run going now and keep attacking the games as quickly as possible and keeping that momentum that they've rightly built for themselves.
Right. Well, look, it's been a fantastic show. Luke Hyam, thank you very much. You're welcome.
You. No,
he is everybody one of our own, isn't he?
One of our own. He's one of our own.
That was almost spontaneous. Almost spontaneous. Well done. Great to see you, and good luck with Woodbridge.
Yeah, thank you.
Great stuff. That's it for this week. Thank you to our capacity crowd. Thank you to our legends, one and all. And if you've been watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. Listening on podcast, listening on Suffolk Sound. Enjoy the bleeps from tonight's show. We'll be back next week. Don't forget www.lifesapitch.tv to book up your tickets for our Christmas show. to be part of the capacity crowd and to buy some merch. It's all on there. But for now, thanks very much. And I'll just say a couple of words as always. Blue Army!
Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army!
This has been a Life's a Pitch TV production. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation.